then I let the pussy go. Never chase a hoe, I'm too busy stacking dough. 500 for a show, better get it for the low. Lay cheap in the blow, with a white boy flow. Walk up in the spot, then I take yo chick. Mob squad 20 deep, and we all with the shits. Model bitch, big ass, big tits. The money got her hooked, I should call your chick a fish. Getting dough, but I bet you didn't know that. Talking underground cash, homie, no tax. Coming for the top, rappers better move it. If you don't do it for the money, why you do it? 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 If you don't do it for the money, why you do it? 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 If you don't do it for the money, why you do it?
What's good, everybody? Welcome to Rhymes and Reasons. I'm over here with my co-host Airshed.
What's up?
And the homie Itchy.
Itchy, you know, one and only desert roots only.
Okay, so where you from, Itchy?
Originally, I'm from the desert of Las Vegas.
Okay.
I kind of grew up everywhere. I grew up in foster care, you know what I'm saying? So I moved around a lot, bounced around a lot. I've lived out in Chicago, Tennessee, Memphis. I stayed up in Florida for a little bit. But where I derived from, where I come from, is Vegas. I moved out here when I was 18 and just started thugging in the streets of SoCal ever since. So,
Okay.
Cali's my home. Vegas is where I'm from.
That's what's up, out here thugging.
Out here thugging.
So you say thugging, so how you got your name Lil Itchy?
It's crazy. The original story behind that, my mom always used to call me Lil One. It was like a little nickname, Lil One. I'm the baby of the family and shit. And when I wanted to do music and shit, Lil One was already taken as a rap name. And it's the day I got into this shit, I knew I wanted to sell my music. You know, I just got the hustler's ambition. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I wanted to sell it. So do the copyright reasons, royalty infringements and stuff like that. I couldn't do Lil One. So through research and stuff like that, I found out that Itchy, I-C-H-I, is the #1 in Japanese. So, keeping with the context that Itchy and Scratchy from The Simpsons was always like my favorite. Itchy and Scratchy show was always my favorite. It was always fucking shit up. Can't be killed, nobody can stop him, right? So that was always like, Simpsons was my shit growing up. So I just decided to keep the spelling the same because really at the end of the day, that's about the only thing controversial about me is really my name. Everything else is real. You know what I'm saying? Really can't nobody pull a card on anything else, but a lot of people make fun of my name and stuff like that. I really don't give a fuck. People gonna do that no matter what.
I ain't gonna hold you, man. I saw your name and I was like, oh, Itchy.
Yeah.
And I peeked your shit and I was like, okay. Well,
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, they see my name, like, that's why my Instagram is Who Is Lil Itchy, you feel me? Because they're like, the fuck is this guy? But then when you really hear my music, you're like, oh shit, like, it's not what you would expect.
I fucks with Itchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, on me. I
You got
fucks
to
with
put me
Itchy.
on your new single exclusive, right?
Yeah, I just put out my new single exclusive. That was kind of like a management decision. Right now, I'm kind of doing like, I guess I call it the Tekashi marketing scheme. You just drop single after single after single, and then like once you really get that hype up, then you drop your project. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like focusing right now. Exclusive. The reason that was like a management decision because out of the like 5 songs I have right now in my arsenal, that was my manager's favorite. And to be honest, I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna put it all out there right now. Some fools that I rapped with back in the desert, they was about to drop. That we don't really fuck with each other no more, right? Just some old like high school rivalry shit. I kind of branched off, did my own thing with the music, jealousy, whatever. So I got on Twitter one day and I seen that this fool, I'm not gonna mention no names, but he was about to drop a song using the same beat. So I called my manager. I was like, yo, we gotta drop this shit quick. And I have a distribution deal through Empire and shit. So like, when I drop my shit, it has to be planned out in time and shit like that. So that was like the one and only pass I got with just being able to drop it like on a dime. I literally called him. I said, I need this shit dropped tonight. And to me, that was like one of my favorites. But I need the video that I'm filming on the first, the one that I kind of been hyping up right now. That's my favorite. That's like my next push. Is like my single project. We're gonna put a lot of money into marketing. The video is gonna be sick.
What's the name of that one?
It's called I Need That.
Oh.
Yeah. Banco, my homie Banco, he's actually from Riverside. He's on the beat and shit like that. So yeah, that's kind of like my favorite one. My favorite out of the 4, I have like 4 or 5 in my arsenal right now.
Sure.
I haven't even like nobody's tapped in, nobody but like my homies have really heard it. You know what I'm saying? So,
How'd you get hooked up with Empire?
My manager used to work for Sony and Universal Music Group back in the day, and he's personal friends with Gazi, the owner of Empire. So He owns this Life Music Entertainment. Shout out Life Music. That's a distribution label I'm signed to. So my distribution is all ran through Empire and Universal Music. So like you could go on all my, if you go to iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Play, just type in Lil Itchy, Lilitchy, you'll find me off top. So it's all major platforms, streaming, Spotify. I like to use SoundCloud because that's more like in person, like with my personal fans they touch. The ones that have been there for day one, I give them the option. You want to buy it, you can, but you've been a fan since day one, I'm going to give it to you for free. You know what I'm saying? The ones that, if they hear my music on Spotify, if they find out about it on iTunes, they'll have the option to buy it. You know
that's the way to do it too.
Yeah.
Just building that loyalty.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the loyalty factor for day one. You feel me? Like, if you got a homie and you gotta start recording music, and you've been recording for music for free for day one, 2 years down the line, you're not gonna be like, oh, I need $2 grand to record you now. You know what I'm saying? It's just that loyalty. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
How'd you get started rapping?
I started making beats. I had a MacBook. I bought a stolen MacBook from one of my homies. And I had Fruity Loops. The homie gave me Fruity Loops, but he gave me the PC version, and I had a MacBook. So it used to glitch out. We could only make a beat, but we could never save it. So we would just sit there and make a beat, and we would just sit in my room and get high and freestyle. And eventually, like, I'm very smart. You know what I'm saying? I really don't put that out there a lot, but I graduated high school before 1.0 GPA, so like I'm really into getting into my craft. No matter what I'm doing, like I get into it. So I did a little bit of college. I did like my prereq classes and stuff like that, but I dropped out of college to make dollars. But
chasing dollars.
yeah, I mean, it was a path for me. And I've been doing a lot of things where I could have went down a lot of paths, but I didn't. But I feel like everything's pointing me towards the music. But anyway, we used to sit in a room and freestyle. Eventually, my friends were like it went from freestyling, because I suck at freestyling, I ain't gonna lie. I like to rap. And then it went to like, yo, in a freestyle, we roll up a blunt, and I'll be like, yo, check out this shit I wrote, right? And we just play it, make a beat, and yo, check this out, I wrote this last night. And then my homies eventually were like, yo, you suck at making beats. Like, you have no rhythm, you're horrible. Like, yeah, but you're horrible at the beats, you know, they suck, but you're not bad at rapping. You kind of got something there. So through that, I found out GarageBand. A lot of people don't know, like, I'm really a really good engineer. A lot of these guys right here rap, and I engineer for them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm also like, I'm multi-talented. I'm like a new Russ, I guess you could say. I just don't make beats. I really can't get into that shit. But yeah, so I downloaded GarageBand, and just started. I was really recording some of the homies, like just on the same stuff we was doing on the beats. But now we would just download beats off YouTube, and then like it was literally. The first time I ever recorded was in like a 3x1 foot closet. And we literally had to like, you literally had to press the button, stand up, and turn around and face the microphone. Like, it was weird, but I mean, I feel like the people who come from that can always make something out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I did. I've established a lot from nothing. I've came from nothing. So when I start something, I like to start from nothing, because that's when it means the most, when it's up and big, you know what I'm saying? Because it came from nothing. So eventually we started recording. I finally recorded like 4 or 5 times before I ever stepped into the mic, just because I wanted to learn the program and stuff like that. And then eventually I dropped one of my first songs, was my brother Cobby Cobb and Dookie Lane, shout out them, my boys from the Deuce. We did a song called Sign Me to a Label. And when we dropped that, like, nobody knew we were rapping, nobody knew shit. It's still on my SoundCloud to this day, just because it's the first song I ever did. And when people did that, they were like, whoa, like, I literally went from not knowing how to do shit, and then within a week dropped like a banger, and it flooded my whole city. It never went really further than my city, but when that happened, it kind of like woke up my eyes, like, holy shit, I got something here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, keep progressing, keep getting better, because you could start out and be the worst person, like the worst lyricist, horrible, but you just gotta keep working, and eventually, like, it just becomes natural.
Just like that man in the shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Anything you start, whether it's playing basketball or making clothes, no matter what you do, everything you start, unless you just got that gift of gab and you just got it. Because I know my boy Sean right here, he just got the gift of gab of skateboarding. Like, he twists his feet in the air, like, on some crazy shit. I didn't even see like Tony Hawk do the moves he does, you know what I'm saying? So he just got the gift of gab, but it don't matter. You start from somewhere, and you can always get better. I tell all my homies that rap and stuff like that come to me and they got questions. I'm just keep doing it. I have no advice. Just keep doing it. If you think you suck now, keep going. Eventually, you're gonna be like you going. Cause I know a lot of my songs have been. I'll make a crappy one, and then out of nowhere I'll make a banger, and I'm like, holy shit. If I would have stopped at the crappy one, I would have never got that final piece. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel really about all that. And it's really, I mean, that goes into how I kind of started the shit, got into music, really making beats.
That's part of the story.
Yeah, ended up being
from sucking making beats to
sucking
making
bangers. Yeah, and sucking and rapping to really just like perfecting my craft. And I have an interest in getting beats. It's just I really don't have the time. A lot of that stuff.
You can't do everything.
Yeah, and I mean I engineer too and all that stuff, but I've just learned so much when it comes to like the engineering side. Like that would be a whole different task in my life that I would have to sit down and make time for it. But a lot of people don't know like producing beats and stuff like that takes a lot of time. Shout out to all the producers out there. I always give my credit, and I always pay my producers. Always pay your fucking producers. As an artist, always pay your producers. Whether it's a lease or exclusive, don't matter. Pay your producers, man. And the way I like to do it, especially like that, is I'll give them like an upfront, and you tell them, like, you go ask how we get mine, we register this. If this goes somewhere, you gonna get your bread. You know what I'm saying? If it don't, you got your bread off top. And that's how I like to do it. Little tip and trick for you.
Yes,
all y'all up and coming out there don't know how to get beats and stuff like that.
I tried. I definitely downloaded Fruity and all that. I was like,
yeah.
never mind, that's not for me.
Yeah,
in my lane.
I got into it where it's like it was just little basic stuff. But I've seen like I got homies that they're into Fruity Loops, and I look at them. Yeah, that's why like me as an engineer, I don't even do Pro Tools. I'm a Logic engineer. I know Logic like the back of my hand. You know what I'm saying? I just picked up my boy Cassius, and he just recorded some shit on Pro Tools, and I'm sitting there looking at it, like, and I want to learn it, because that's an engineer program, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, when you're so keen to one thing, it's like, why branch off on anything else? You know what I'm saying? And especially Logic is becoming an industry standard right now, so.
So, what else do you have going besides that?
Right now, let's see, I'm trying to take over, not really take over, I'm trying to just keep it hot for the rest of the summer into the winter. And 2019 is my year. Right now, I'm kind of looking at, definitely, we were already booked for South by Southwest in March next year. Right now we're working on we're gonna do like a West Coast radio campaign. That's kind of like the next move before South by Southwest. I'm trying to do this new thing where I'm tapping in. It's not a new thing, they've been doing it since the beginning of music, but I feel like a lot of artists don't do it nowadays. I'm tapping in with the DJs. I want the DJs at the club to play my shit. Whether it's at a club or like, because they got house party DJs and then they just got radio DJs, but that's kind of like the market I want to tap into. Is I want to feed the DJs my music. And of course with that comes bread, but when you have the bread to pay for that, it can really help, because once you start getting all these college stations and college radio stations and little satellite radios to like pick up your stuff, yeah, my stuff got thrown into a radio circulation for like a week, and I had people commenting on my YouTube, my Instagram, like, yo, I heard your stuff on the radio, it's good, keep doing what you're doing. And that was like my first single for the money that I dropped. They heard that and they were like, keep doing what you're doing. It got a lot of good feedback. So that's kind of like the next move right now is that. My video on the 1st of September for I Need That, South by Southwest, and then the ultimate goal by next year is to definitely get a 4-minute set at Rolling Loud. So believe it or not, you can pay for that shit, and that's kind of like the next goal is to really get a set at.
A lot of gyms away.
Yeah, a lot of gyms away.
Everybody gonna buy out those spots.
Nah, shit, they better get it before I get it. But like, yeah, that's kind of like the next major move is that Rolling Loud spot. I can't even explain, because that just the networking off that and just being in that atmosphere, environment, it's gonna be so surreal. And I mean, like, my goal is the top of the world. These are just, I set stepping stones there, you know what I'm saying? I feel like when you set stepping stones, you accomplish much more, instead of just being like, that's what I want. You gotta, okay, that's what you want, but how you gonna get there? You feel me? So you start accomplishing stepping stones and shit like that, then you get to your goal and you achieve it faster and you have more direction. For example, I just got out of prison last September. A lot of my stepping stones were, I went to prison for guns and stuff like that. Like I said, I really grew up really thugging, you know what I'm saying? So, my stepping stones was to get a car, get a job, get back on my feet, move out here to Hollywood. I ended up going to the Los Angeles recording school, Los Angeles Film School. They had the recording department. Did a little bit of, got some stuff out the way, did like little online classes and stuff like that. But really set a goal, an ultimate goal, and stepping stones to get to where I'm kind of at. And I'm not even at where I want to be at right now, but I'm definitely heading in that direction. I've never had like more hope and aspiration for my music career than I am right now. Like, just the buzz that I'm kind of getting, just a little bit of buzz, shows me that a lot of buzz can come. Yeah, hell yeah. I get off parole September 7th. I paroled September 7th, 2017. I don't get off parole till 2022, but if I do a year with no violations, no trouble, no nothing, that's why I got out of the area I was from, because I didn't want to be around my homies. My homies gonna see this and be like, that's why your ass left. But that's why, I keep it G-Real 100. I didn't want to get sucked back into the same crowd up in the desert, because like the desert's a whole different atmosphere than the city. Like the city, you really like, you got gangs and stuff out here. In the desert, there's no gangs. It's just like all tweakers and all like bikers and weirdos. You know what I'm saying? And all they want to do out there is just tear up the desert. So I had to get the fuck up out of there, and I made my way out here to the city just because that's what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get sucked back into that crowd. And a lot of people told me I wasn't going to discharge early off my parole, but I literally have like 14 days maybe until I'm off that shit. And that's that, and that was a stepping stone. Get off parole, because now I can leave the state legally and go on tour and stuff. And if I have opportunities overseas, right now, as of now, I'm on an international no-fly. I can get on a plane and leave the state, but it's illegal for me to leave the state.
It's a violation. You right back to where you started.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, international, I can't do. If I go book an international flight, I'm on an international no-fly list. I cannot leave the country. So if I get an opportunity in London, fucking who knows where, Germany, who knows where, you know what I'm saying? I have to deny it, just for the simple fact I can't leave the country. So that's kind of a good stepping stone. Like I said, a stepping stone for me is getting the fuck off the road. So,
yeah, my man itching to get off the road right now.
Itching to get off the road, man.
I think it's really dope though that you have an actual vision and like you have stepping stones like you said, because I feel like a lot of kids are just like, oh, I see this SoundCloud rapper with this colorful hair, all these damn tattoos on his face, like I could do the same thing and make it, but it's not that easy. So the fact that you're actually saying that you have the vision and the stepping stones, like I think that's super dope.
Everything starts with a vision, man. You can't see your reward if you don't have a vision. You know what I'm
So
saying?
you see cloud and like, oh, I can grab it, no, it's not that easy.
Exactly. And a lot of people think it is easy and it's not, but like I said, sometimes people get more blessed than other people, you know what I'm saying? But it's really all about how hard you want it. Because I know motherfuckers that are, like, I was in prison with some fools that, like, sign him, what are you doing? But he ain't got no music on SoundCloud. He ain't got one song recorded. You know what I'm saying? It's because he didn't want it as bad as somebody like me who was in the studio every day recording. Where now I get in the studio, I'm sick of this shit. You know what I'm saying? But it takes that to get to where you want to be and to get good. Y'all don't fucking laugh at me because I know one of y'all says something. I think it's Danger too.
His name Danger?
Yeah, that's the homie Danger right there. He be rapping. I'm pretty
Danger!
much his knowledge. My boy Reeve, Tom Mills, Nino, all them Cashes. KB, he just the president shit. He don't even like this. If it ain't about gangsters and strippers, he don't even like it. Like he's the president of a music company. I don't get it. And then Sean, that's the manager right there. So my people, this the whole team right here. And then we got Rolly's. Where's Rolly's big ass?
Rolling deep.
That's security right there. Yeah, that's the short.
He brought the whole squad.
The whole squad.
Shout out to the team. Shout out to hip hop. Shout out to Itchy. This is Rhymes and Reasons. I'm Spider, Air, Itchy.
Appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks for coming through.
Of course, man. Hey, shop Yay Kim.
Shop Yay Kim.